Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the newly released HGUC Silver Bullet Suppressor. Sorry about that. Now this mobile suit was actually seen in the Gundam Narrative Movie, which I haven't seen yet. Yes, I haven't seen it yet, but I have seen enough pictures, short clips, spoilers, enough to figure out like what the movie is about. And yes, I have seen the video scenes of the Silver Bullet Suppressor, which was used by Panaji, who was also the previous user of the Unicorn Gundam from the Unicorn Gundam series, of course. So this family has a number of silver bullets like we've seen in the series or in the manga, so which I assume which is why he has this version as well. That's just my guess, but yeah. So this was released yesterday, so Saturday in South Korea, and I finished building it last night. If you follow me on Facebook, you might have seen it. And then here is the review. Now this review is going to be a little bit long because there's a little bit much to talk about, and then I won't be able to make any comparison with the Silver Bullet because number one, I can't find it. Number two, when I was moving this to a new apartment, some of my kits got damaged to the point where, well, it's not impossible to fix, but it requires some mending. So yeah. So sorry about that, but I can tell you that this kit is it's not a recolor of the original Silver Bullet. It actually has a lot of different parts. So you can pretty much say it's a totally different kit. Number two, there's a good amount of leftover parts which I have to explain. So that is why this review might be long. So before I go into the review, let's talk about the components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is the Silver Bullet Suppressor himself, and then we get a trigger finger for the right hand, and then the beam magnum, which is actually directly from the Unicorn Gundam model kit. And this is actually my first time seeing this beam magnum rifle in model kit form, because those who have been following me on my channel, I do not own a single Unicorn Gundam model kit. I do not own the Banshee, I do not own the Phoenix, I do not own any HG, RG, MG, SD, or whatever that is Unicorn up to this point. The only thing I can say I own is a Gundam Converge small figure. Okay, and then other than that, we get a multi-purpose hand for left and right, and that's pretty much it for what you're supposed to get, or according to the manual. And then a sticker sheet. Now the sticker sheet, I'm going to be mentioning the Silver Bullet kit because I still have some memory, so everything is going to be based on my memory. So there's number of stickers. It's actually there's less stickers than the original Silver Bullet, because the Silver Bullet, the original one, had a much more larger sticker, if I remember correctly. And then you can see I used most of it except for these white ones, because these white ones that require you to fold up the edges, which I absolutely despise. So I decided to color those area, and I will point out where they are. Alright, so other than that, we get the 4 arms that are in the backpack. So those are like the stuff that you're supposed to get. Now let's talk about like the leftover parts. So I'm gonna go with plate by plate. So here is plate number 1. Here we have these Star Trek-ish symbols going on. These are the stands because the Silver Bullet, or the Silver Bullet mobile suit in general, is basically a Dovin Wolf. And if you've seen the Double Zeta, the Dovin Wolf can fire its arms with a wire action. And basically for the wire actions for the kit for the Silver Bullet, I never owned Dovin Wolf, so I'm not sure about that one, but these are basically stands for those arms. So here is the stands, and here we have these long sticks. Yes, these are supposed to be the stands for the arm for your wire arm action. So we get 2 of those, and I believe they still have the holes, so which I assume the arm parts are the lower arm parts might be the same build as the original Silver Bullet. And then here we have these parts, which I'm going to assume, I can't remember, these are going to be either the feet part or some sort of yeah, I think they are the feet part. Yeah, so that's that. And then here's some, here's some leftover polycaps. It uses a good amount, but not all. And then here we have these parts. Now these parts, one of the difference is the way how the, I think it's the leg parts, where I believe these were present in each side, but now you only have on one side of the legs, which is why you have these leftovers. Here we have a part for the shoulder arm part, and then here we have some parts for the shoulder. So if you see the kit actually closely enough, you can see each arm joints are actually different designs. So because the right arm actually has this gimmick where they can swap arms. because the Silver Bullet Suppressor himself cannot maintain the beam magnum. So after firing one shot, he has to detach his right arm and then reattach another right arm from the backpack. So which is why the right arm actually has a different shoulder or armor design. Here we have some extra hand covers. Yeah, these are for the arms and shoulders. Okay, here is another plate. So now this kit does not actually come with beam saber effect parts, but you still get the beam saber hilts. The beam saber hilts should be originally stored in these sides. There's this round part over there where they're supposed to pop out. Here we have some thruster parts, which I cannot remember where they were originally meant for, and more parts from here. And then here is a plate from, I believe this one's actually from the Unicorn Gundam directly. We get a lot of thrusters. We get a extra beam magnum pack, which does not actually go onto the kit, but by looking at this is supposed to be the one that goes onto the back of the waist for just decoration, for as an extra ammo pack. Some feet from the Unicorn Gundam, ball joint parts for the legs, yada yada. Here we have another plate. This one actually has a good amount of stuff. So we do have some open hands, but the manual doesn't really mention it. But if you want to use these, be my guest. And the interesting part about the Silver Bullet is that you can see there's these square like engravings here, because the Silver Bullet can actually fire beam shots from its hand. So that's one interesting aspect. Here we have these parts. Now for the Silver Bullet or the Dovin Wolf, when they fire their arm, it's not the arm goes away, but now in place of those arms there are these claws. These are what those claws are supposed to be. These are those parts where yeah, here we even have the claw parts. So yeah, so inside those arms are supposed to be having these claw-like arms, and that is what they are for. These parts I do not remember what they are. Here we have more joints for the arms and yada yada. Yeah, the Silver Bullet was one of the first few HGUC kits that I tried and then got me into now collecting HGUC kits. Here we have, I believe these are like, yeah, these are like, this is for like the original feet for the Silver Bullet, as far as I remember. And then here we have a beam rifle, original, for the Silver Bullet, the original Silver Bullet. And yeah, you can actually build one, so if you want to. And here we have the shield parts. Now it does have some similar parts as the Jegun, however, the end part, the half of the part is also different because it has some sort of beam cannon blaster that's attached to it. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for the leftover parts. Now let's go on to the actual review now. Boy, that took a long time. Okay, so before I start on, I'm pretty sure you're all wondering how big this is. Now, the Silver Bullet itself was a very big kit, but I can definitely tell you that this kit is even bigger, taller than the original Silver Bullet. I don't have it right with me right now, but based on memory, it's definitely bigger and taller. And here is a typical HG kit, and you can see how like the size difference is. You can pretty much call this is like almost close to a Reborn's 100, or well, sort of, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, so if they ever make a master grade out of this, boy, that would be big and bulky. Okay, so now let's go on to the articulation. Then, yeah. So I will try to mention like what the changes, because this is not like a 100% recycle. There's actually been some good changes and good improvements. Okay, so let's start with the head. Now for the head, the only part that is a sticker are those eyes. Those red parts you see here and here, those are all color separated parts. So basically there's this big red base part that goes inside the head, and that is what that utilizes those cameras. And this also, well, yeah, let's see. I'm gonna take off the head. Okay, so even on the back side of the head, there's this red camera. That is also not a sticker. That is also a color separated area. The antennas on the back of the head, if I remember correctly, the original Silver Bullet, these antennas were supposed to be separate parts. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So don't be too sure on that. But they also have these safety nubs, I believe what they called it, and the same goes for the V-fin. And I actually do like the way how this head looks. Of course, for the Silver Bullet, when I bought it, I obviously used the one with the visor for obvious reasons. The head articulation, it's kind of stiff, but it works. It works. It can go down that much and then up that much, but because of how the design is, it may look like it's always like staring down. 360 twist, I say it should be possible, but once again, you can see it. It's gonna require you to fiddle around. So yeah, because there's all these stuff going on in the backpack. So yeah, definitely good. And then if I remember correctly, this part in the original Silver Bullet, you had to apply a sticker, and also the chin. Yeah, the chin was supposed to be a sticker in the original Silver Bullet. If you use the Gundam type head, of course. If you use the visor head, that's a different story. Everything is here. There's no stickers here. The main body up here is connected. Ooh. Okay. I don't know how that fall off, but it fall off. Sorry about that. So the main body here is connected as a ball joint. You can see the ball joint over there. Yeah, it's a ball joint. So you can have a little bit of ab crunch, but yeah, most of the time it's going to be like that. So yeah, no ab crunch most of the time. So the shoulders, the way how the shoulders are connected is that these shoulders are actually separate pieces, so they're not connected to the main arm. So it's like how you connect the shoulder and the arm to a master grade. So yeah, the shoulder and arm are separate things. You can move this arm to the right 90 degrees. You have your typical 360 twist, and you have a nice double jointed bend, or a bend that's more than 90 degrees. Because if I remember correctly, the Silver Bullet only had a 90 degree bend. So definitely I can see some improvements. Now, despite this arm looking different, it still has the same aspects, more than 90 degree bend, and then you have a 360 twist. And then you can move the shoulder also 90 degrees to the side. So no problem at all. And you have your typical ball jointed hands. Okay, so before I go, yeah, actually I'll go with the backpack on the main at last. So here we have the beam magnum. So I could be wrong, because isn't there supposed to be like a dark blue piece up in here, or here and there, but unless these are supposed to be colored. So I could be wrong, but yeah. It's my first time seeing this as a model kit. So yeah, and another issue is that because of how the arm is designed, you can see I'm trying to hold the beam rifle straight, or beam magnum straight, but it may look like it can be like not straight, but a little bit pointing to the downward angle, depending on how you hold it. So that could be one a little bit tricky thing. Okay, so the front skirt, or yeah, this is just a single piece, does not move at all. So one of the stickers that are used are these purple stickers. So this is where the beam saber is stored. This would pop out, and then there will be a beam saber. So those purple stickers are there, so they're on the front, and then there's 2 more on the back. So there's 4 of them right over there. Yeah, okay, actually I needed that. Okay, and then let's see. These white sections, these white sections you see are all separate, color separated pieces. Now the legs, they were okay. They were kind of interesting. This part is actually a sticker, and then these round sections are also a sticker. So these purple are stickers, so that's 4 of them on the legs as well, and 2 of them on the front. There's these side thrusters going on. Well, this part actually moves, but I'm not really sure what these are like meant for. These thrusters on the side do not move as well. So either way, you can have a 90 degree up front, and then just a 90 degree bend. And yeah, these might look like side skirts, but they are actually connected to the size of the kit, so no need to worry about that. And then you have a nice side swivel going on here, and you are able to move 90 degrees, or supposed to move to the side, but not 90 degrees because the armor is colliding. And your feet are your typical ball jointed feet, but I really don't understand why they had to use high heels. I mean, I really don't understand why there are high heels like feet in the Gundam universe. Because, I mean, when we talk about humans, it's really hard to run or even walk in high heels as far as I know. So wouldn't that apply to, like, these big robots as well, or mobile suits? So that's just one question I have. So basically I'm just saying I prefer the original Silver Bullet's big and bulky feet. It's because of these, sometimes it is kind of tricky to, you know, balance the kit. And then we have this front part which technically does move around. And then these white sections, not this part, these parts are supposed to be those stickers. I decided to just color them in white. Was using a Gundam white marker. I might need to apply a little bit more on some of these, but some of them turned out okay. So yeah. So yeah, we have this part, and we have another moving part inside there. So yeah. And then let's look at the backpack. So in the backpack we have 4 arms, and here are the parts where you might have some questions. Do all of these 4 arms have articulation? Yes and no. Only the first one, the first extra one that you use, and most of the time you'll be using, has articulation. The other 3 are exactly they don't have articulation and have the exact same build. So this one, on the other hand, okay, let me check. Okay, so here's the thing. This is the original arm that you first built, and this one actually has a polycap inside there to hold the ball joint in, and it has the bend. This one also has the bend. It works exactly the same. Wait, is it this way? Yeah, it has to be this way. Yeah, there we go. This also works exactly the same as that arm. The only, oh boy. Yeah, the only difference in this arm is that inside there's no polycap, but, oh, you know, I think I should take this out. The interesting part is that this thing does not have a polycap, but it also has a plastic ball joint holder, which I'm not really sure what their purpose was, but it's definitely much more stiffer. So yeah. So if you do have some troubles with the wrist on this one, maybe I guess you can use this one for a more stable and tighter joint. Here is the rest of the three. One of the rest of the three. You can see there's no. This is just a two pieces snapped together, so there's no actual movement. I mean, there's a little bit wobbly, but there's no actual bend here. So yeah, and the hands, the wrists do not also have any articulation because they are a single piece connected to the inside. So no wrist movement. It's just a single piece. And if you are curious, yes, you can actually attach it on. Come on. Yeah, you can actually attach it onto the arm if you want to do so. So yeah, it works exactly the same. Of course, you can see after I just attach it, you can see there's some separating. But either way, it still works. Alright, so now is the time where I should explain or show you guys how this gimmick works. I mean, those who've seen the movie obviously knows how it works, but I'm more of the saying, like, how does it work as a kit? So let's say he fired a shot, and then technically the beam magnum should be on the other arm, but you do not get a trigger finger for the left hand. So let's say he fired the arm, it popped out, and then let's see how it's supposed to go. So here we have on the back, we have these connections, and yes, this entire part does not move at all. It's just a single. This is going to be staying there for a long time. The only part that should be moving are these parts. It can go, since it's just on a peg, it can move up and down, and then you have these extra things going on, or binders, if that's what you call them. So I'm just gonna put them on here just to make sure it doesn't really collide with anything. So okay, so here's how it works. So we move this part to the most right end, and then this part as well. So I suggest, like, if you want to do this properly, the kit should be like staring, like the main body should be staring like directly 90 degrees up front, because if it's like staring like this, it's not gonna work. So what you do is this, and then you extend this here, and then this does get kind of a bit tricky because yeah. So originally the manual tells you to go like this, oh boy, and then, so yeah, basically you just need to fiddle your way around until this claw part can actually latch around there, and then this is supposed to pull it out, but which isn't actually exactly a easy task. So I just suggest that you just pull the thing out, and then it reaches out the arm, and then what you're supposed to do is that you have to rotate this thing around. So I'm just gonna show you guys how, like, the gist of it. So yeah, so it will rotate entirely around here and then reach up for the front, and then yeah, you can see it is now up there, and then all you need to do is reattach it. There we go, and then detach, and then, you know, put it away like that. And there we go. That is how the new arm swapping gimmick works. And that's pretty much it for the review. So I say, like, some people found this like option goofy, but I find it very unique, which is why I bought this. And then the Silver Bullet was originally like one of my first HGUC kits that I've reviewed and actually tried out. So it just has some sentimental values for me, which is why I decided to buy this. The arm swapping gimmick is kind of fun for me. I don't know why, but I actually like it. It's very satisfying. So yeah, if you're actually kind of wondering how this is, definitely go for it. Of course, the box is kind of big. It is kind of expensive, but it's worth it if you ask me. I mean, it's not too sticker heavy, and most of them are manageable. So that is pretty much it for the review of the HGUC Silver Bullet Suppressor. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.